I specialize in the treatment of plantar fasciitis, and I have seen thousands of cases. And there is one common finding that I see while assessing most all my patients, and that is the presence of short, tight calf muscles. I'm sure most of you have heard that stretching your calf muscles can help correct plantar fasciitis, but I'm not sure everyone really understands the connection between calf inflexibility and exactly how it can lead to plantar fasciitis. So I want to explain how that happens in this video. And more importantly, I want to share with you the two primary causes of chronically tight calves. I think these will surprise you because it's probably something that you're doing unknowingly every single day. Or possibly even the shoes you're wearing that you think that is helping your plantar fasciitis, but they could be undermining your progress. Also, later in the video, I'm going to share with you the 3 most effective exercises and stretches to unlock your calf muscles. And I'll also demonstrate a soft tissue technique that breaks up fascial adhesions that may be keeping you from getting full movement in your calf muscles. I'm Dr. Angela, and I'm the Plantar Fasciitis Doc, and I'm all about helping you resolve plantar fasciitis at home. Now, let's get into it. When our calf muscle group is tight, it limits the normal movement of our ankles. We need proper mobility in our ankles to progress through our walking and running gaits. Ankle dorsiflexion is the action of bringing the foot towards the shin. If this movement is limited, it alters our normal gait cycle and places added stress and compensations on other parts of the body that were not designed to withstand this type of pressure, especially the plantar fascia. Another way to describe compensations is to say that we borrow actions from another part of our body. Now, this may be a little technical, but I think it's important to understand if one part of your body is not functioning normally, for example, the ankle joint, we will borrow an action from another part of the body that may not be ready or capable of handling that sort of load, the plantar fascia. Does that make sense? So the way this compensation plays out is if your ankle is stuck, it causes your arch to collapse and causes overpronation in the foot, which puts excessive stress on the plantar fascia. It eventually breaks down and shows up as a repetitive strain in the form of plantar fasciitis. The plantar fascia is not the only place where we find added stress with limited ankle dorsiflexion. It has also been associated with injuries like Achilles tendinopathy, knee problems, and even lower back pain. In my practice, when a patient complains of any combination of these symptoms, I am definitely assessing their ankle mobility. I mentioned earlier that I wanted to share with you the 2 most common causes of calf muscle tightness that can restrict your ankle mobility. The number 1 cause is wearing footwear with an elevated heel. Most conventional footwear has this damaging feature. And I'm not just referring to women's high heels. It is present in casual shoes, men's shoes, and even running shoes. You would think that if shoe designers added this feature, there would be some solid evidence to support the presence, but there is none. Elevating the heel causes a chronic shortening of the heel cord, which is your Achilles tendon and calf muscle, because the heel is constantly raised. Many of the shoes that you may have heard are good for plantar fasciitis can actually be sabotaging your recovery. Shoes such as Hoka's, Brooks, New Balance, Asics, they all have an elevated heel and are shortening your calf muscles. Zero drop is the term used to describe a completely flat shoe from heel to toe. When a shoe has zero drop, it distributes body weight evenly across the foot and encourages natural arch support. The shoe brands I recommend that are zero drop are Ultras, Zero Shoes, and Flux Footwear, and I will link those in the description. The second biggest cause of short calf muscles is sitting too much. Now, this may surprise some of you, but if you have a sitting job or you sit too much throughout the day, it could be the source of your plantar fasciitis. Many of us sit to work, we sit to eat, we sit to drive, we sit to watch TV. When we sit, our legs are at 90 degrees and it keeps our calf muscles as well as our hamstrings shortened. If you have a sitting job, try to stand as often as you can throughout the day, at least every hour. Get up and walk around the house. You may also consider a standing workstation or an adjustable workstation that would allow you to shift from sitting to standing throughout the day. In this last section, I wanted to share with you the 3 best exercises and stretches to improve flexibility of the calf muscles and ankle joint, and also how to release fascial restrictions in the soft tissue. Now, stretching isn't the only way to improve range of motion. Many people aren't aware that strengthening a muscle also lengthens a muscle and increases flexibility. I've chosen calf raises with a ball between your heels as the first exercise. While performing a calf raise on a stair step, squeeze a ball between your heels. Squeezing the ball isolates the tibialis posterior muscle, which is one of the most important muscles for arch stability. When you have weakness or dysfunction of the tibialis posterior, it can lead to flat feet and weak arch control. Avoid flaring your feet out. Keep them as straight as possible. Perform 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions 1 time per day. As you get stronger, you can increase to 2 times per day. The second exercise is active stretching with a foot rocker or a stair step. There is a difference between active or dynamic stretching and static stretching. Static stretching is where you hold a stretch for 30 to 60 seconds. Active or dynamic stretching incorporates movement or motion and is only held for 2 seconds. This feels more like a repetition than stretching, and it is more effective for this condition. Active isolative stretching is my preferred type of stretching technique for increasing elasticity in muscles and fascia. Using a foot rocker or a stair step, lower your heel without bending your knees, letting your toes rise naturally. This will create a stretch in your hamstring, calf muscle, and plantar fascia. I recommend using a foot rocker as it offers a special angled platform made specifically to elongate the calf muscles. You can also see how it targets ankle dorsiflexion, and it's the best $20 you'll ever spend. Steady yourself by holding onto a chair or the wall, and now lower your heel and begin to stretch. Hold this stretch position for 2 seconds, then come back to the neutral position. An important aspect of active isolative stretching is when you contract one muscle, it relaxes the opposing muscle. So as you stretch down, focus on contracting the muscles in the front of your leg, and this will reciprocally relax the muscles on the back of your leg, which is the calf muscle group. This allows for a deeper stretch. Perform 10 repetitions 1 time per day. The third exercise I recommend is addressing limited motion of the ankle joint. It's called kneeling ankle rocks. Kneel in front of a wall, shift your weight to your front foot. Attempt to touch the wall without raising your heel. Hold for 2 seconds and repeat 15 repetitions on each side. Perform this exercise 1 time per day, and as your range of motion improves, increase to 2 times per day. Lastly, one of the most powerful and effective ways to increase the flexibility of your calf muscle is to address the fascial system. There are fascial connections between the calf muscle, Achilles tendon, and the plantar fascia. Fascia is the connective tissue that wraps and surrounds every single thing inside your body. Most of us, when we feel tightness in our muscles, what we are really feeling is a restriction in our fascia. And you must release the fascia first before stretching will be effective. If this knot represents an area of restricted fascia, can't you see how this would prevent you from getting an efficient stretch? Using a fascial release tool, find areas in the calf and plantar fascia that feel tight, impinged, or tender and apply moderate pressure. When you find a tender area, spend 15 to 30 seconds releasing the fascia, then move to the next tender or restricted area. I offer detailed instructions on how to release fascial adhesions in my free guide. The link is in the description. So, I hope you have a better understanding of how improving the flexibility of your calf muscle and ankle joint, along with releasing fascial restrictions, can improve outcomes for plantar fasciitis. If you learned something today and you'd like to hear more, be sure you watch my next video on more strategies to resolve plantar fasciitis. And don't forget to download my free guide where I show you the exact steps to fix your PF.